Wow, talk about a jump. Coforge shares hit that 10% upper circuit, after their Q3 results.
Yeah, I saw that. It's quite impressive. A 10% jump is not something you see every day. It seems like investors really liked what they saw.
Absolutely. So, what exactly made the stock rally so hard? I mean, what were the key highlights?
Well, the company reported a net profit of 215.5 crore rupees. That's a 6.6% increase from the previous quarter. And the revenue growth was pretty strong too, at 8.4% quarter on quarter.
Okay, so like both profit and revenue saw good growth. Anything more about the revenue? I'm curious about how they're growing across different currencies.
Right. So, in constant currency terms, their revenue also grew by 8.4% sequentially. And in US dollar terms, it rose by 7.5% to $397 million. That's pretty consistent growth.
That consistency is key, right? So I guess operations must also be doing well. How did those numbers look?
Yes, their EBIT also increased to 316.2 crore rupees from 287.6 crore rupees in the previous quarter. The EBIT margin also improved, reaching 9.5% from 9.4%, and that's always a good sign.
So that sounds like solid all-round performance. I guess that explains the market's positive reaction. It also shows they're managing costs effectively, huh?
Exactly, and it's not just the financials. Coforge also announced that they are acquiring Xceltrait Inc. for $17.85 million, which shows they're looking at expanding their capabilities. So the market also seems to like their growth moves.
A strategic acquisition to help drive growth. That sounds like a good plan. I'm curious though, what does Xceltrait bring to the table? Like, what's their specialty?
Well, Xceltrait specializes in implementing ServiceNow's financial services operations and customer service management modules, specifically in the PNC insurance industry. So, it's a very strategic move for Coforge.
Makes sense. That'll help them enhance their service offerings and bring in more domain expertise. So, besides all the good financials and acquisitions, did they announce any dividends?
Yes, they did. They announced an interim dividend of 19 rupees per share with a record date of January 30th, 2025. So that is definitely going to please the shareholders.
Absolutely. That's a good reward for investors. I wonder what's the bigger picture? Like, how has the stock been performing over the past few months and years?
Well, the stock has rallied 20% in the last 3 months, more than 46% in 6 months, and a whopping 108% in the past 2 years. That's massive growth in a short span of time.
Wow, those are some impressive numbers, huh? It shows the company has been on a very strong growth trajectory. But how does this growth compare to their previous performances?
Actually, they also had really strong year on year growth. The revenue is up by 40.3% and EBITDA is up by 29.3%. So they've really stepped up their game. And the numbers show the results.
Those are big jumps. I mean, the fact that their order executable is at $1.37 billion, up 40% year on year, just makes it look very promising for the future.
Absolutely. And they've signed 4 large deals this quarter, with a headcount increasing 16% organically since the start of the year, which shows they are building their capacity as well.
Right. The fact that they are growing their team shows they're preparing for more growth ahead. That really highlights how robust their pipeline is, right?
Indeed, and it is really across the board with significant growth in the Americas, EMEA, and RODOE. They're also making good progress with the Signity business, which has touched an EBITDA margin of 17.3%.
Oh, the Signity business is improving too. That's great. I guess those positive reports are why the stock is soaring. I'm wondering, what about the recognitions? Do they have any this quarter?
Yeah, they've got quite a few actually. ISG recognized Coforge as a leader in insurance services in North America, and Nelson Hall recognized Signity as a leader in quality engineering in multiple categories.
That's really awesome. Getting recognized by those names only adds to their reputation and credibility. Okay, so it seems like they're not just growing financially, but also with their technical capabilities, right?
Exactly. And they've also won the Appian Europe 2024 Partner Impact Award for the public sector. And they've achieved the Microsoft Azure Expert Managed Service Provider status for the 3rd year in a row.
That consistency shows they are good at maintaining standards and building relationships. But this also means they're investing in people and their development, right?
You got it. They also got recognized as one of India's best workplaces in IT and IT BPM for the third time. They are also one of the most preferred workplaces for women. So they seem to be doing well on that front too.
Well, that certainly makes them a more attractive employer, and that will help attract talent, I think. So it's been a really good quarter for them on all fronts, right?
Yes, indeed. A strong revenue growth, healthy profit margins, strategic acquisitions, big recognitions, and a solid pipeline. That's a great recipe for success, you know.
Absolutely. I'd say their results highlight their strong growth and overall performance. I think the market clearly responded to all the positive data.
I agree. And the fact that they have a significant order book executable over the next 12 months at $1.37 billion further solidifies their position, you know.
So a 40% year-on-year growth there means the future looks bright for them. But what about client concentration? Are they reliant on just a few major clients?
Well, actually, they have de risked their operating profile by reducing their client concentration. Their revenue from the top 5 and top 10 clients has decreased, while their relationships with large accounts are increasing.
That's great. It shows they're diversifying their client base and becoming more resilient. Okay, so with all this positive news, what do you think is the key takeaway from these Q3 results?
I'd say the key takeaway is their robust and balanced growth. They have strong financial performance, strategic expansions, industry recognitions, and an attractive workplace culture, all combined, and they're doing really well, right?
Right. They are ticking all the boxes for a healthy and sustainable business growth. It's like a well-oiled machine, every part working in sync, you know?
Exactly. It's like having all the right ingredients in a recipe and executing it perfectly, everything working together. The company is really hitting its stride, I guess.
So the consistent growth, the strategic planning, and a lot of external validation, it's all working in their favor. It's a good case study of how businesses should be run, right?
Yeah, they seem to have figured out the perfect formula for growth, you know. Now, if you're enjoying this conversation, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights.
Definitely. And with all these achievements, it'll be interesting to see how Coforge continues to grow and expand in the coming quarters.
Indeed, the next quarter will be very interesting to watch. I wonder if they can sustain this kind of growth in the face of changing market dynamics.